presentation is a big word because I didn't really prepare anything to say, but I did bring 2 videos that both relate to the theme about text and language in performance, and also somehow give an insight to my recent work. I think I won't be speaking too much because there has been a lot of text and speaking tonight, but maybe I will do a very short presentation and just mention what the videos are about. They're both performance works from me. As Henrik already mentioned, I have been living now 5 years in Vienna, where there is a very strong focus on performance art because of the art history in Austria. From Chile to Vienna, Actionism, and recent artists like Elke Christopheck and so on. So there's both a very big interest and also a very big institutional focus on performance. When I was living in Denmark, I didn't really have the feeling that there were so many possibilities to show performances in art context, but I'm very happy with invitations like this and so on, that there seems to be a stronger focus. My way into doing performance came basically from painting graffiti, which may sound a little bit strange, but my graffiti evolved into doing actions in public space, and some people told me that this was related to performance art, and then I was invited to different performance events, and so I came into the art world. And I have been doing performance now for approximately 7 or 8 years or so. The first video that I would like to show you is related to some topics or some themes that are important for me and important for the things I'm doing. One of them is audience interaction. I have developed from doing shows, or what I would define as shows, into more kind of constructing situations in which things can happen. So it's also very often open what will happen in interaction to the audience, and the moment of interaction and surprise and improvisation is something that I find very interesting to work with. The performance is called First Person, and I did it 1.5 years ago in Vienna together with another Danish artist who lives in Zurich called Søren Berner. And some curators got a house that was supposed to be teared down, and then they invited different artists that got an apartment each. And we got this, I think, 5 or 6 room apartments, and we took groups of people in there, always a group of 6 people. One of them we gave a camera, and the other 5 people we gave instructions and created a performance together with them. And we repeated this the whole night. So we maybe showed the performance, I don't know, 30 times or something. So we have many hours of video material, which is all filmed by different audiences. And the video that I will show now is, of course, heavily edited because it's only 5 minutes or so, but it might give an impression of what was going on.
Can I ask a question before?
Yes, of course, of course.
You were talking about the house that was taken down.
Yeah.
Was it some kind of eviction, or was it a squatted house?
No, it was not a squatted house. No, it was not a squatted house. It was 2 curators from Vienna who said to the city that they were interested in empty houses, and the city gave those 2 curators a house. So it was very official. It was not. I have been doing things in squatted houses as well, but this is not the case. Yeah.
Okay, it was just to be aware of the context.
Yeah, it's actually a very institutional context, I would say.
Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Hallo.
Then of course, intercourse, bisexual sex.
So we want to break the borders between participants and viewer somehow.
I just need to hear things start. Tell them I can just walk around with the things start.
That you're able to picture yourself in the role of someone else, or to experience something that someone else has experienced. Nicht zoomen bitte, einfach halten und versuchen festzunehmen, was du siehst.
Okay.
The cosmos is also within us. We are made of star stuff, and we are waiting for the cosmos to know itself.
1, 2, 3, read. What would you say? Screen.
I think nature is
Sommergefühl.
This whole issue of participating, doing, experiencing, doing performance. I'm bored. It is a performance.
Elevating and accelerating, discover that we live in a universe which permits the evolution of molecular routines as intricate and subtle as we.
Anybody wants to see a performance?
Role in the performance. That's very important for us. Because if somebody has a passive role in the performance, it's a completely other view of working in a performance than one.
And we want each one of you to describe this performance in one word.
Jim Lamming? Not Jim Lamming. Jim Lamming? This is how we do. Very, very, very fun. Or strange. Or normal.
From the brain, I got a question for me.
And please stand on one of the line. Okay, stand one of the line. We see the dog take.
Dr. Friis, I've got a question if I may.
He's having a crazy view on his face.
Your legs
He's
and
singing.
count all your hairs and
He's grabbing me in physical.
doing something that
But he's clearly performing.
talking to me. I want to hear you. tremendous mess, there's waves going around the room, which is a light fountain around the room, going from one place to the other, and it's all really there, really, really there. Well, we would like to thank you very, very much for joining and participating in this performance. This was the end. Thank you very much.
It was very much about creating different situations in which a performance can be seen in different ways. Also what Robin told before about putting too much information, like having a person and a video projection, this was overdone to an extreme extent in this performance because there were so many things going on at the same time in every room that it was impossible to experience everything. For example, people are reading a text out loud while we are performing a ritual in the middle, and of course it's impossible for the audience to look at us while they read the text out loud. So we played with a lot of things like this. I don't know if there's any questions to this specific video.
What about Søren? Søren is also a Danish
He's a
performance.
Danish.
Was he living in Switzerland?
He's living in Zurich, yes.
Basel? Or where?
No, in Zurich.
In Zurich. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you working together before, or?
We are working together very often actually.
Okay.
Once in a while we work
How
together.
structured was it? It looked like the audience were kind of had to do in every room special things, or was it open? Could they actually engage and participate, or because they looked very like they were standing in lines and doing things that you had told them to do?
Yeah, that's what we did.
Okay, so it wasn't like they could engage in that way.
Yeah, I mean some things are of course more open than others. I mean we would take, okay, now we walk into this room, now you do this, now you do that, but of course there's a lot of interpretation in those things. But it's a very difficult thing because in order to make people participate, I think you have to perform with a certain authority. If you leave too much open, it's like nobody wants to participate. So if you say, does anybody want to do something creative, then nobody will say anything. But if you say, here, take a spray can and spray on this wall, then they will do it. So it's a very...
Well, there are lots of ways, yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of a dilemma that you need to have a certain authority in order to make people participate, but it's it's something I'm
But if you're too authoritative, they will just do what you're telling them to do.
Yeah.
They won't break the space in any way. Or
Yeah, but still, if they only do what I tell them to do, and I considered some ideas about different ways of perceiving a performance, then it still might be another way to perceive a performance, I think.
okay.
Where you're testing in any way the audience's borders of these instructions, if they were in some kind of I don't know, challenging in any way?
You mean like personal borders or something like that?
Yeah, was it a part of the concept that you would try to push this participation in a direction that might,
We didn't want to make it uncomfortable for the audience. That was a very conscious decision. We didn't want to, because there's this kind of participatory performance where it's about hitting the audience or throwing shit on them, and this is not the path that I'm interested in. I'm more interested in the feeling of being a part of something that you are a part of something. Like when you go to a rock concert, for instance, that the people have this feeling of being a part of something bigger than themselves, and I also want to create something that is bigger than me. So this is more, not so much testing how far does the audience want to go, but more creating something that they want to be a part of. I want them to have fun as well, and I also want to have fun myself. I think it's there is too many performances with too little fun. So. I want to And one thing that of course was also important was the video camera, because this is another technique that I have developed to make the video recording of the performance an integrated part of the performance itself. Because then suddenly all the situations we're constructing together has a meaning, because we are recording a video. And then it also has a meaning that there is a person with a camera there. Then it's more than just a documentation. Of course, in this video, the audience was the cameraman. In the other video I want to show, I actually hired a cameraman, but I did it in the same way. I told the audience, now we're staging a video recording and I want you to participate in creating this video. But of course it's still a performance, and as in the other one, the participation and interaction of the audience plays a central role.
Can I ask you a question
Yes.
before you continue?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, when you was working at these different kind of performance, you set it together, did you have a topic for it or a goal, or why did you choose these performances?
Yeah, in this one, it's the one I showed now is very abstract, of course. It was just basically about, we had these different rooms and we wanted to test different ways for an audience to view or participate in a performance. So it was like the theme we had for this.
So did you have a time limit, or did you say, okay, with the first ideas that pop up, we take them, or what did you?
Yeah, we sat together for 2 days and we had a lot of ideas, and then we picked the one we liked the most, basically, and we found a way that it fits together.
Like the most out for what were most fun, or?
Yeah, most fun or most interesting or most, how can I say? We wanted to create some situations that might be interesting to participate in.
Okay.
But that's also your idea of having fun, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
also
of course,
very
of course.
exclusive, I think.
Yes,
I
of
mean,
course.
for me, it wouldn't. I think I would be very anxious to
Yeah,
throw
of course.
the papers in the face of one of you guys, or whatever, or being forced into participating in
that's the
in
challenge.
a performance. For me, that's not fun, for example.
Yeah, that's the challenge, to create a situation in which you do not have this fear, or you feel encouraged to cross that fear.
Yeah.
It was very funny because actually the real party was going up on the stairs because everybody was waiting outside. But afterwards, all the groups that came out, even though they didn't know each other before, many of them, it was like they had really been bonding because they have been going through all these different things together in this little group, and they really had the feeling that it was some kind of special experience that they have had. And that's what I find interesting about performance, the ability not only to create pictures, but to create experiences, situations. I think even if you're only sitting on a chair viewing a performance, you're still a part of it, because the performance is created in that moment, and that's the interesting part about performance, I think.
Yeah.
The next video that I would like to show, it has a more specific theme. It's not as abstract as the other one. It's about the hero myth. I have been dealing a lot with Western cultural history, and also especially male identity, and the history of the white heterosexual male. And I have been dealing a lot with the hero myth and the role that plays in Western cultural history. So the video is called There and Back, because that's the rotation. Spatial, and also from the content. And maybe I just show it, and afterwards we can talk more about it if you have any questions. I'm very happy that you're all here. So thank you for coming. Right now we're going to stage a video. You could come. Don't be worried. Yeah, don't be. I have had a dream, and I would like to show it to you. I have the feeling it's some kind of message. It could be. Do you think you would be able to explain this video to someone? No. Let's try it.
No. Don't do this to us.
You're in this together, you can do it.
So basically, we went into the other room and we sat on the bed with some Spider-Man sheets, and we watched the video, and there was some, I'm not sure, it's apparently the video of his dreams. And what did the text say?
I don't know. So, I will need 3 people again.
You're a star, dog, street, and the fear, and wonders of having values of yourself, walking the fear, behind, by, anarchist, of having, behind, to death, the fear, yourself. Yourself.
Okay, please hold this. I will give 3 people a birthday cake. Goldbach's conjecture states that any prime number or any number greater than 2 is the sum of 2 odd prime numbers. While that assertion is indeed very easy to comprehend, it is actually impossible to prove. But try to consider the possibility that Goldbach's conjecture is neither nor, that it's something undetermined, in between, that is neither true nor false. I also think that you could see this whole performance a little bit like that, as something in between, yet to be determined. Take one. to just hold it up so that it's visible in the mirror.
He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to break them so you need to hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids and hide your wife. You can hide your husband too, 'cause they are thinking everybody's out there. You don't have to come and confess, we're looking for you, we're gonna find you, we're gonna find you. You can run yourself that, run yourself that, you can run yourself that. He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to break them so you see. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids and hide your wife. You can hide your husband too.
Okay, you can throw the masks in the corner over there. And come over here. interesting was the transformation. Of course, the whole video is about a transformation of me, but it's also a transformation of the audience. There's like two roles in the video, me and the audience. And we're taking this travel together, and at the beginning it's this awkward atmosphere and they are very reluctant to participate, and in the end they are carrying me back to the starting point and we are partying together. This was the feeling that I wanted to create, I think.
I think it's very interesting to see these two videos together, especially because you explain the intention of the first video, or the first project, which I see or I read it as a pure experiment with form in some way, where the other video or the last project I really see as exactly what you wanted to do with the first project actually. And you succeed very, very good, and congratulations with that project.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, the first video that I showed has a very experimental nature. It's very much just trying things out, actually. But I just thought it would be interesting to show the approach in it, in a way.
But then the last video, the last part, you really embrace the audience, you really embrace the space, and
and also, of course, it was more thematic.
When you, I think, maybe it's just me, but I kind of think you're cooler now that I've seen the second video. So, when you decided how to show them, and because of the second video is also, like you said, the perspective of the male, were you aware of that when you were preparing the presentation? Because the way you presented it, it seemed to won us over, because there was some criticism around the first video, and now there was even this kind of a turnaround in opinion, not opinion, but so was this part of it somehow, or just happened to be that way?
I think I'm aware that the second video is more embracing to the audience. I mean, not only the audience in the video, but also the people viewing the video. But it's also more recent, so it also has some kind of development of progress in my work, and I think that's natural to show it in that order. And I think maybe when you watch this video, maybe you can understand more where it comes from in like a technical or performative sense if you've seen the other one first. That's what I thought it was.
This idea of you said you asked the people in the beginning to help you make a movie.
Yeah.
Is that the movie we saw now?
Yes, of course.
No, but the last one was made by a cameraman, right?
Yeah, I had a cameraman, but it was not filmed by the audience, but of course they played the second role, you know, it was...
and what we saw now is the whole, it's not a shorter version,
yes, of course, I mean, it's edited, of course.
But is that why they then... Because I don't know, I didn't feel that they were more free in this second one. I feel they're very not free, so I don't know, I definitely had an idea that the first one I would have felt freer, but I think because it was a little bit like this experiment where you asked them to get electric shock to like an actor in there, because is it that you put up the frame that you say you're making a video that makes them do these things, because you also show it quite, it's not like you're hiding that some of them didn't feel completely comfortable by playing these roles that they would put into, so I could only understand it by the fact that if you think that you're participating in something that is going to be a project, it's okay to put a cake in your head, and it's okay
that's a part of it.
To like play Ku Klux Klan or what they were doing.
That's definitely a part of it, but also a big difference to the two videos is that in the second video I already had a very clear idea of what I wanted to do, and also how I wanted the video to be. I mean, I already had the whole narration of the video thought out before we made the shooting. So of course I cannot say exactly how people would react. And it could also be that no one would participate or something, but I already wanted them to be a part of something specific. You know what I mean? I don't know if that answers your question.
Definitely. So you didn't try it another time? it was only made this one
Yes.
time. You didn't try that somebody said no. No,
No.
I don't want to put the cake in your head.
No. But I think when you do something like this, and that also makes it interesting, I think that every reaction will be a part of the work. So there is not any wrong reaction, I think. Because if nobody will participate and everybody just stand there and are completely reluctant and I'm fighting to get their attention and please do something, then that's the work.
But there's some kind of a... Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I have a small problem because for me it gets extremely hermetic. You talk about that you reflect a role, but you can't hardly breathe because you are a total dictator in a way, and you're using the people as pictures, just as pictures, just as images, you know. And I find it
I'm not completely sure about
in a way
that.
I find it a bit mean. I'm trying to figure out what you're up to. I find it a bit mean, like these stupid old women doing something, and it's funny that they're older. I know it sounds that I'm cruel, but I just have a taste of it, which I don't like.
I'm not so. I understand what you mean,
know what I mean?
and it's something I think very much about.
But somewhere and I'd like to break out the humor actually. In a way, it's not really humoristic for me.
Maybe, but I think the way that I deal with this issue is that I put myself in the front line. I would never do a work where it was only models or actors or only people. That's why if there is something embarrassing or I don't know, then I'm the one in the front line doing it.
Yeah, but where is it that you really fall?
How do you mean fall?
Sort of.
Where's your fragility?
You're exposing the other ones, but where is the point where
You don't think I'm exposing myself?
Yeah.
I think I'm exposing myself more than the audience. I think I'm exposing myself much more than the audience.
In both of them, in both situations.
Especially in the second, I think, but also in the first, I think it's. Because I would never. I mean, I wouldn't do like Yves Klein, you know, stand in a suit painting with a naked woman. If somebody should be in paint and someone in the suit, I would be the one in the.
You're aware of all these references you talked about already in the beginning. This is a very big tradition in Austrian performance artistry. You're doing all these extreme things, and of course there's no humor in it.
But you think it's really extreme? I don't think it's any really extreme
no,
thing.
but it's a lot of cliches in a way. You're making fun of, you're smashing the mirrors, you're doing loud screaming, and it's all the attitudes of the classical Austrian.
No, not only the attitude of the classical Austrian performance, also especially the attitude of popular culture like movies and television shows. It's not only the classical performance art, it's like the big cultural tradition, I think. It's very much related to pop music and movies, Hollywood, computer games, mythology.
Yeah.
As you please.
I'm just interested in knowing how was the invitation, because it's so what did the audience know before they came?
It was the opening of an exhibition. It was the opening of my exhibition.
Okay, and in describing your art, your work in any ways, or just your name and an opening?
No, there was a text about the theme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was also announced there would be some performance.
And it's just, I'm just curious, and was it announced also that people might participate or?
No.
No. Not because I think you should have done it or anything like that. I'm just curious in knowing what were their way into it, because it's interesting to know.
When Henrik introduced you, he said that you had been studying philosophy in Copenhagen before you went to Vienna.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if besides computer games and pop culture and what you were mentioning, if there are any philosophical theories and issues that you are relating to in your work.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the most obvious is the speech I do in the tree about the logical problem of Goldbach's conjecture. But actually, it's not like I see this as an important theme. I just use that as a picture. For me, it's like saying, yeah, philosophy, dance, music, it's all just a part of the same culture somehow. So it's not, it's more important for me to have the idea of an intellectual male than to have, than what exact theory I'm discussing. Because probably most of the audience don't understand exactly what I say anyway, but they understand that I speak about something intellectual.
I just have a comment on this participatory thing about the last project, because I get the notion of some kind of a negotiation going on during the whole project, where you give some and you take some, and it seems like you're very aware of the balance of what you're taking from the participants and what you give to them. And when you are hanging in the tree you get these cakes smashed in your head, then you actually, as I saw it, you could read some kind of joy from the audience after some of the first experiences, and when they throw you back in the hole, there's some kind of a enjoyment too, and then let's pop the champagnes, and you know those.
Yeah, that's what I meant about this transformation. I don't know if I succeeded in that, but that was somehow what I would love to, you know, to put them in a difficult situation, and people have to somehow cross their own borders to participate, and it's somehow very awkward, and then due to the things that we go through together, in the end, you know, they feel, actually I'm really happy that I did this, and you know, and that's what people told me as well. And people didn't come to me afterwards and say, oh, it was so bad, and it was more like, oh, this was so funny, and this was such a great experience, or something like that.
So if you use this idea of the hero or male hero somehow, and then what the audience is becoming, they're becoming somehow a mass audience. It's like in the end when you do this stage diving, I mean, of course they're far too little to be a real audience in that sense, but still the feeling in that audience is that they become, like if you're in a rock concert, you're kind of totally with the hero somehow.
Yeah.
So this kind of, I don't know.
But yeah, that's true. But in the same way, it's very absurd because you doesn't have the same illusion that you have in a rock concert. Yeah. It's so obvious that I'm just constructing this situation in that moment. Okay, now you have to treat me like a rock star, come over here and I will, you know, it's completely absurd actually.
But it reflects the reality in a very perfect way, I think.
Yeah,
and
but you're
I don't think that you are the most exposed. Actually, I think the ones engaging with the performance is the most exposed. For example, the one carrying you or throwing the cakes in your head or whatever. I mean, you're the dictator here. You're controlling everything, you know? And you are in this performance. The spectators or the ones that are actually taking an active role. For me, I see them as very out of control in some way. So that, in my opinion, it takes the work into another dimension where. Where it reflects the whole spectator
because I think
performer role in another way actually, which I find quite interesting that people are actually taking part of it.
I think there's always some
dictatorship. That's what I'm trying to say actually, but in an interesting way.
But I think there's always dictatorship involved in performance because unlike a painting, you are really forced to watch it. So even if you don't tell people to sit on the chairs, they are still forced to do so when they do the performance.
Yeah, but you ask people to.
They choose to, yeah. They also choose to come and see.
But the audience is carrying the camera, for example. That's another role, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Very, very important.
But when you assign them certain roles or put them in certain positions or tell them to do certain things, then everybody becomes aware of the construction. Because you don't have the illusion of I'm just a viewer.
Yeah, yeah. But for example, the cameraman maybe is more important role than you are actually.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think it has a lot to do with authenticity and role shifting in a way, but still quite cool work.
A last question maybe, because it's we are 11 o'clock. Been here for 4 hours. So a last question.
Yeah. I keep struggling with trying to figure out why participation is necessary for this piece, given that it's dealing with basically masculinity and the hero model. Why participation? What is the importance of that experience as spectators, as the ones viewing the performance? Why the participation experience? How does it relate to the topic at all?
I think it relates very much to the topic because the notion that we have about identity is always linked to a lot of different rituals that we engage in. Like I say, when we go to rock concerts or even when we go and watch a movie, or I don't know, we are involved in this culture of masculinity in very certain ways. So I think it's also a way from, I don't know if I mean, I'm not saying that I'm opening anybody's eyes, or I don't know, but I would like people to become more conscious about the nature of these rituals that we engage in. And I think when you construct those rituals in such absurd ways, then you become very aware of that it's just a situation that you and me construct in this moment, just because I tell you now you take this and do so. That's why it's very important for me not to do it as theater, because of course I could hire a bunch of actors and I could record this movie as well, just like a regular movie, but I'm constructing the situations in the moment, and that's important.
Can you elaborate on the masculinity?
Maybe we should finish now.
We should finish, I'm sorry. I promise.
Christian, thanks a lot for being here. And when we're doing our second season, you should definitely come back and do a live performance here.
Yes. Or maybe, am I allowed to do some commercial?
Yes, you are.
I'm doing a performance on Thursday, and you're all very welcome at the Nikolai Theater.
5 o'clock?
Yes, I think it's 5 o'clock.
So please come, join that.